Now, this is where we have to look at the class factor in terms of entertainment. And we have to look at the Prophet's time and see the manner in which the Muslims at that time were able to entertain themselves. As Muslims became more affluent and more privileged, those who were privileged were able to have more opportunities for self-entertainment and group entertainment. And that's one of the reasons why in Damascus, during the Umayyad period, and later in Baghdad, during the Abbasid period, if you look at the literature, you will see that Muslims had greater form of entertainment. You had dancing girls and all kinds of things, which the ulama began to look at with suspicion. Because you will gradually begin to degenerate. Because that's what happened to us. You have food to eat, you're no longer worrying about getting food, because now you have food. Society is becoming very affluent. And that's what happened to America. If you look at the United States, you have more forms of entertainment and recreation here than anywhere else in human history. You see what I'm saying? Because people have more leisure time. And the technology has brought this about. You have 50 channels on TV, from the most bizarre to the most sublime, right? Forms of entertainment. Now, as a Muslim, following the example of the Prophet, you do not allow any programming that is dunyaistic to affect your Iman. That's your choice. And the debate going on in the society right now is that kids should be controlled by their parents so that they do not access certain television program for entertainment. As Muslims, we have to follow the example of the Prophet, in the sense that the Prophet's example was defined historically and circumstantially by what existed at the time. Secondly, the Prophet's example was dictated by Quranic consciousness, to the point that human beings can laugh, they can joke, they can entertain themselves, as Isa was watching those dances. But you must not deviate from your Quranic teachings with regard to the human being in this dunya. So finally, what I would say therefore is, and I wonder what Jamal would have said, because giving this lecture for him, I'm substituting for him here. I would say that as Muslims, what we have to recognize is the fact that we must locate ourselves in contemporary history. We must know what human beings have done in the past to entertain themselves, and we see to what extent those forms of entertainment done by humans were in keeping with Quranic teachings. So as we look at forms of entertainment, and we have varieties of entertainment in our society today, and one thing I tell Americans, non-Muslims, when I give lectures in places where you have most of them are non-Muslims, or all of them are non-Muslims, is that in the United States we have evolved in our form of self-entertainment to the point that we can become terribly hedonistic, terribly individualistic. And I will tell you the symbol of this hedonistic individualism evident in self-entertainment: the workman. The workman is the ultimate symbol of individualism. Because you have your workman, you're working, you cut yourself completely from the world. And when the Quran talks about when the Quran talks about Allazi yuwaswis fil sudur nas min al jinnati wa nas, when you put your workman to entertain yourself and you have dunyaistic music, you might very well allow Iblis, Satan, to be whispering to you. But you can also have Quran to entertain you. So it is personal choice. It is personal choice. Living in modern America, with all the technology, we can learn from the example of the Prophet to entertain ourselves without falling into the trap of Dunyaism. This is my opinion, my feelings, based on my understanding of the Quranic and Hadithic literature about recreation. And I hope that, if I am mistaken, may Allah forgive me, but I hope I gave you what is relevant here. Assalamu alaikum. Yes, brother, go ahead.
At the time of Umayyah and Abbasi, when they had music and women dancing, is that okay?
No, the ulama opposed that, and they wrote about it.
At the time too?
They did, they criticized them. No, he's saying that during the Umayyad and the Abbasid period, when you had these dancing girls, which is part of our history, the ulama opposed that. That's why some of them were punished. That's one of the reasons why some of the ulama said the best ulama is the one who stay away from the king. Because you could easily become ulama al-su by hanging around. The ulama who hangs around the court could easily be corrupted. So when they see those dancing girls, they will not criticize them. You see what I'm saying? Those are the ulama al-su, the vile and corrupt ulamas.
Let us be practical.
Yes.
What do you propose for the people who live in Fresno and Madeira to do as entertainment?
Well, no, you can go to football games. You go to football games, you go to baseball, you go to basketball, you go to soccer games. Because if you come from the Muslim world, most probably you like soccer more than football. Isn't that true?
Yeah.
You can go for golfing.
You know, it's very hard even to find.
You can go for bowling.
You know, it is hard to find somebody to talk to, let alone play together.
Well, I mean, no, but the point is this though. But don't you have access? Don't you have access? You have friends. If you don't see them and talk to them verbally, you talk to them electronically through the net. It's cold. That one is cold contact. You want to have warm contact. You want to have. That's why the telephone is warm contact, whereas the internet is cold contact. You see what I'm saying? You can still entertain yourself that way. But these are the realities.